In this video, I'm breaking down the entire lore of Garten of BanBan, from every single VHS tape to the hidden secret notes, and even the mysterious backstory behind BanBan's kindergarten itself. I'll also explain all the secret families and how everything connects across the series. If you've ever wanted to understand the full story of Garten of BanBan, this is the video for you. Let's start by uncovering the truth behind all the VHS tapes. These tapes are hidden throughout the game, and they're not just random videos. They actually reveal a lot of deep, disturbing secrets about the characters and the kindergarten itself. Some of them show how the monsters were created, while others show what they went through. Let's start with BanBan 2. This is actually the first game in the series that introduced VHS tapes, and right away, the first one already shows us something terrifying. You can find this tape in the parkour room near the top section. You have to really explore the area to spot it, but once you do and you play it, you'll see something interesting. It shows a surgeon holding a needle, injecting some kind of strange liquid into a chunk of green clay. That might not sound like a big deal at first, but here's the thing. JumboBosh was made out of green clay, and this liquid might be Gvenium, the mysterious substance used to bring these characters to life. So what we're seeing here is probably the exact moment JumboBosh was created. It's not just a science experiment. This is the beginning of a monster. The second tape in BanBan 2 is in the maintenance room. It's placed on a table with a tape player right beside it. This one is very different. It shows BanBan lying on the ground in a large, empty room. He looks scared. He's curled up, quiet, almost like he's hiding from something. You can't see his face clearly, but you can feel that something's wrong. Why is he like this? Why is he alone? Well, this might be connected to a much bigger problem. We've seen evidence that BanBan has some kind of transformation ability. Sometimes, when he loses control, he becomes what fans call hellish BanBan. It's a scarier, more dangerous version of himself. Maybe this tape shows the aftermath of one of those transformations. Or maybe BanBan saw something so terrifying that even he couldn't handle it. Either way, this tape shows us a side of BanBan that we never see during gameplay: his fear. Now let's move on to BanBan 3, where things get even more interesting. There are 3 main VHS tapes in this game, and they all tell different stories. The first one is in Toadster's jail. If you play this tape, you'll see a toad-like creature bouncing around inside a cell. It's clearly one of the early experiments, and most people agree it's Sheriff Toadster. But he's not a sheriff yet. He doesn't have his hat or badge. He's just an unstable test subject. It shows that even the friendliest-looking characters went through dark beginnings. They weren't always who they are now. The second tape in BanBan 3 is hidden after the JumboBosh escape sequence. At the very end of that hallway, you can find it. And this one, it's mysterious. It shows a child, possibly Claire, standing near Captain Fiddles in the playground. But the tape doesn't explain what's going on. Is Captain Fiddles her friend? Is he watching her, protecting her? Or was he there for something darker? This tape raises a ton of questions. But one thing's clear: Captain Fiddles is more involved in the story than people think. The third tape is in the hallway before the bird race. If you go up the stairs on the right, you'll find it hidden near some debris. And this is where things get creepy again. The tape shows BanBan trapped in another containment room. He's in pain. You can hear him screaming as he transforms into his hellish form. The footage cuts to static during the actual transformation, but the message is clear: BanBan is dangerous. Whatever the scientist did to him, it broke something inside. He's not just scared anymore. He's becoming something else. But here's something not a lot of people know. There's a secret 4th tape in BanBan 3, but it's only found in the game files. It was never added into the final version. This one shows Banbalina sitting alone in a cell. She's not moving. She looks lonely, and we still don't know why the Euphoric brothers cut this tape. Maybe it was too emotional, or maybe it revealed too much. Either way, it's one of the saddest moments in the series, and most players never even see it. Let's go to BanBan 4 next. In BanBan 4, we discover 3 hidden VHS tapes, each one showing us something strange, emotional, and sometimes even disturbing about the characters. The first tape is in the ventilation sector. It shows Bombalina again, standing in front of a birthday cake. It's the same cake from the end of BanBan 2, but instead of being happy, she knocks the cake over. She's angry. Maybe she was expecting someone to come back for her. Maybe she was promised something and then abandoned. Either way, it shows that Bombalina feels trapped. She's not evil. She's just hurt. The second tape is found in the housing sector. It shows Stinger Flynn lying on a little green boat in a white test room. This might be from before he grew in size. He looks peaceful, like he doesn't know what's about to happen to him. It's kind of sad to watch. And now the third tape in BanBan 4 is probably the most mysterious. You'll find this one in the feeding sector. When you play it, you'll see Bitter Giggle and Sheriff Toadster, but they're not alone. Both of them are bowing down in front of someone sitting on a throne. That someone is none other than Queen Bouncelia, and this confirms something we already suspected. In BanBan 4, we saw that Bitter Giggle and Sheriff Toadster treat Queen Bouncelia with deep respect, almost like she's royalty. Well, now we know why. This tape shows that from the beginning, they've always respected her as their queen. Whether they were trained to follow her, or if she really rules over a part of the kindergarten, we don't know, but the power dynamic is crystal clear. Now let's jump ahead to BanBan 6. Once again, the VHS tapes return. Just like before, we find 3 new tapes hidden across the game, but this time, there's a noticeable pattern. All of these tapes seem to show us the early stages of different characters. Let me explain. The first tape in BanBan 6 shows Opila, but not the terrifying version we usually run from. Instead, we see her running through a hallway, almost playfully. It's strange, almost like watching her learn how to move for the first time. The second tape is about Tamataki and Chamataki. We see them locked in a room together, and something feels off. They're fighting each other, or at least their two heads are in conflict. The tape captures that awkward stage where the two minds haven't yet learned how to share one body. It's tense, it's strange, and honestly, it's kind of sad. The third tape shows Slow Celine. In this one, she's seen attacking a wall, trying to escape. She looks desperate, like she doesn't understand where she is or why she's there. It almost feels like we're watching her go insane in real time. Once again, we're seeing a character trapped in early development, confused and scared. Now, let's answer one of the biggest questions in the series. Why can some characters speak fluently while others stay completely silent? Characters like BanBan, Banbalina, Bitter Giggle, and even Sir Dadadoo can speak fluently. But then, there are characters like Nabnob, JumboJosh, Kittysaurus, and Opala Bird who never say a single word. So the big question is, why? Why can some characters speak while others stay completely silent? Let's start with something simple. Every character in the Garten of BanBan universe was created using a substance called Gvenium. So logically, they should all have similar capabilities, right? But clearly, that's not the case. Some characters speak perfectly fine, while others can't say a word. The key difference might actually be in their mouth design. Characters like BanBan and Banbalina have mouths shaped like humans. They have full lips and tongues, just like us. But when you look at characters like Nabnab or Kittysaurus, their mouths are very different. Nabnab has a wide circular mouth with sharp teeth, more like a creature than a person. Kittysaurus, being a cat-like figure, has an animal-shaped mouth. So one theory suggests that characters with human-like mouths were designed to speak, while characters with creature-like mouths weren't. Let's take a closer look at Nabnab. In BanBan 0, we see baby versions of several characters. Baby Nabnab never says a word, but Baby BanBan and Baby Bitter Giggle do. This tells us that from the beginning, some characters were built with the ability to speak, and others just weren't. Even when they grow up, the ones who couldn't speak as children still remain silent. Now let's talk about Gvenium citizens. These characters have human-like faces and mouths, but they still don't speak. Why? One theory is that they're simply not smart enough. In BanBan 7, we do see a Gvenium citizen screaming, so they do have vocal cords. But maybe no one ever taught them how to speak. They scream, they panic, but they don't talk. Then there are characters like JumboJosh, Nabnab, and Opila Bird. These characters seem to understand human commands, but still never speak. JumboJosh helps the player, and Nabnab is a best friend of BanBan, and sometime he follows the commands of BanBan. That means they understand what's going on. So why don't they speak? It could be that they were never programmed with speech. Maybe the scientists didn't think they needed it. Or maybe like animals, they communicate in their own way, through action, not words. Now here's where it gets interesting. Characters like Sir Dadadoo have similar designs to Nabnab and Nabnalina, but Sir Dadadoo can speak perfectly. So how is that possible? One theory is that Sir Dadadoo was given special treatment. He's royalty, he's the husband of Queen Bouncelia. Maybe the scientists gave him extra intelligence and speech because of how important he was meant to be in the story. Let's not forget characters like Tartabird, Tamataki and Chamataki, the Naughty Ones, and the Nanny. None of these characters speak. Tartabird's mouth is clearly bird-like, and Tamataki and Chamataki have two heads, but still no voice. The Naughty Ones are mutated and unbalanced. All of this suggests that their silence is part of their design. They weren't built to talk. talk. They were built to do specific tasks. Another interesting theory is based on the idea of language barriers. Maybe some characters do speak, but they're not speaking English. Opala Bird, for example, can scream loudly. What if that's her version of language? What if, in her mind, she's talking clearly, but we just don't understand her? That could explain why characters like Gvenium babies and Opala Bird only make sounds. It's not that they can't talk, it's that they talk in a different way. And finally, we have to talk about the scientists and surgeon. They created all these characters. Some were made to entertain children, others were made to protect or assist, and some, like Bittergiggle or BanBan, were made to lead. So it's possible the developers only gave voices to characters they saw as important. Speech might have been a privilege, not a default feature. Now we're diving into one of the biggest mysteries. How did the scientists actually create all the characters in BanBan's kindergarten during the early days? Let's start with Sheriff Toadster's origin. He was one of the earliest known experiments. He was created by combining Gvenium, the DNA of a frog, and a human genome donor. We even see early footage of this in a VHS tape from BanBan 3, where a frog is seen hopping around inside the facility, likely the first stage of the experiment. After this frog was infused with Gvenium and human DNA, he transformed into the sheriff-like character we know today. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Some fans believe that after Toadster was created, the scientists made him watch endless Western films to shape his personality and speech. That would explain his accent, behavior, and sense of justice. But another theory says his human donor was someone from a Western background, which would explain why Toadster naturally adopted that personality. And this idea is supported by other characters in the game who seem to inherit memories or personality traits from their donors, sometimes even emotions. Next, we have Banbalina, and her origin is deeply connected to BanBan himself. Banbalina was created as a way to control BanBan, who had already started becoming unstable and aggressive. Scientists hoped to calm him by creating a companion, someone he could connect to on an emotional level. To do this, they used the DNA of Ms. Waverly Mason, a person BanBan had specifically requested to see. When Banbalina came to life, things went sideways. She showed similar psychological symptoms to BanBan, including the belief that she was her donor. This frightened the facility staff, so they made one key decision. They never allowed Banbalina to meet her genome donor. Instead, she was placed into testing and behavior monitoring and trained to become part of the kindergarten system. Eventually, she was intended to reunite with BanBan, but only when she was fully stable. Now let's talk about a fan favorite, Syringan, the creepy medical character with robotic limbs and a cold demeanor. Syringan's original purpose was very different from what we expected. According to classified case files, Syringan was created to perform complex surgical procedures on failed characters, an unstable experiment. He was designed to be precise, emotionless, and efficient. But there was a problem. Syringan had one of the lowest KAS scores out of all the cases. KAS stands for Kindergarten Application Suitability, a rating that determines whether a character is fit to be shown to children or added to the facility's systems. Because Syringan was so unstable and potentially dangerous, the scientists were ordered to terminate his development. Now let's move to one of the most mysterious characters in the series, Flumbbo. There's a lot of confusion about Flumbbo. Some fans believe he's the original BanBan, but that's not true. BanBan was created first. Flumbbo was made after BanBan, using the same method, Gvenium mixed with human DNA. What makes Flumbbo different is the role he seems to be designed for. In BanBan 0, we find a strange document labeled Anti-Devil File, which mentions the idea of creating a counter to something evil. Fans now believe that Flumbbo was created as a counterbalance to BanBan's darker side, possibly to stop a spreading corruption inside the facility. Some even think Flumbbo was meant to end the hellish BanBan threat, which we'll probably learn more about in BanBan 8. And before we get into the origin of the main characters, like BanBan and JumboBosh, let's take a quick look at a few others whose stories are just as important. Let's start with Nabnab and Nabnalina. We don't have official case files explaining exactly how they were created, but visually and behavior-wise, it's pretty clear what happened. Both Nabnab and Nabnalina are spider-like characters. They have multiple limbs, the ability to walk on walls, and fast, unpredictable movement. So it's almost certain they were made using a spider genome combined with Gvenium. Now here's where it gets interesting. Nabnab was created first, but due to his isolation and loneliness, he became more unstable and aggressive. To help him emotionally regulate and stabilize his behavior, the scientists at the facility facility decided to create a counterpart, Nabnalina. She was meant to be his companion, possibly even a friend or calming presence. But her creation didn't go as planned. Because of an event called Bring a Friend Day, her development was cancelled and abandoned. Later, in BanBan 3, we see BanBan himself give us a mission to bring Nabnalina back to life. This shows she was never completely erased from the system, and her revival may play a bigger role in the story moving forward. Now let's talk about another mysterious character, Bitter Giggle. Bitter Giggle was also created using human DNA and Gvenium, but we still don't know who his genome donor was. What we do know is that Bitter Giggle was created around the same time as Sheriff Toadster, during an early phase of the facility's experiments. He seems to have had a failed development cycle. Despite this, Bitter Giggle was eventually finalized and added to the kindergarten, possibly after being restructured or re-engineered. And now, let's move on to one of the most iconic characters in the entire series, JumboBosh. In BanBan 2, we find a VHS tape that shows how JumboBosh was made. In this tape, we see surgeons injecting Gvenium into a block of green clay. This clay was mixed with gorilla genetics, which is why JumboBosh is so powerful. Some fans even believe that surgeons created siblings for him. We've seen wall art of other JumboBosh-like characters, but we've never met them in the game. That's led to theories that the siblings were failed experiments, or they could appear in future games. And before we talk about BanBan's origin, there are still a few very important characters we need to cover, specifically Captain Fiddles and Queen Bouncelia. Both of these characters are extremely mysterious. In fact, Captain Fiddles might be one of the most important characters in the entire series, and yet he's also the one we have the least information about. But after digging through files and subtle hints, here's what we know. Captain Fiddles is also known as Case 12G. He was created using the genome of a woolly spider monkey combined with Gvenium. That explains his design. What's really interesting is that he was one of the few characters who was actually completed and fully ready during the Bring a Friend Day event. While most of the other cases were still in testing or early development, Captain Fiddles was already finished and approved. Unfortunately, beyond that, we don't have much else confirmed about how he was used, what his personality was meant to be, or if he ever had a genome donor memory reaction like BanBan or Banbalina. Now let's talk about Queen Bouncelia, another character surrounded by mystery. She's actually one of the main figures in the entire series, but strangely, not much about her creation is ever directly revealed in the game. That said, I've spent a lot of time collecting information, hints, and fan theories, and I've put together a full breakdown of how Queen Bouncelia was created and what her true purpose might be. But I'm not going to share it all in this video. If this video hits 500 likes, I'll make part 2, where I'll explain everything about Queen Bouncelia, her origin, her role, and what she could mean for the future of the series. Now let's talk about the character you've all been waiting for, BanBan himself. BanBan, also known as K6, was one of the very first mascots created at the kindergarten. The scientists originally tried to bring BanBan to life using a human-like circulatory system, but that experiment completely failed. The human system was just too weak and couldn't handle the unique structure of these mascot creatures. Because of this failure, the staff decided to try something else. They switched BanBan's circulatory system to a Gvenium-based system. Gvenium, as you know, is that mysterious silver-like material that can bring non-living things to life in this world. After switching BanBan to a Gvenium circulatory system, he finally came to life, but there was one major side effect. Since BanBan's DNA was created using a real human genome donor, specifically the genome of a man named Dr. Uthman Adam, BanBan didn't just come to life randomly. He actually started remembering memories from Dr. Uthman Adam's real human life. Just like other Gvenium experiments, the memories somehow stayed locked inside the mascot's mind. Because of this, BanBan acted strangely compared to other mascots. He could eat, he could drink, he could speak fluently. He had high-level human intelligence. He was also cooperative most of the time, but there was always a deep confusion inside of him. Deep down, BanBan believed he was Dr. Uthman Adam, not just a mascot created from his genome. And strangely, like all other alive cases, BanBan also reported feeling constant pain inside his body, pain that no one could fully explain. At first, the staff thought this could be manageable, so to fix BanBan's confusion, they arranged a private meeting between BanBan and the real Dr. Uthman Adam. This meeting probably took place inside BanBan's cell. When Adam Uthman entered the room, BanBan treated him like a stranger, even offering a handshake, despite believing in his mind that he himself was Adam. During the meeting, Dr. Uthman explained that he was BanBan's original genome donor and started telling BanBan about the science behind Gvenium procedures. But while Adam was talking, something inside BanBan snapped. Without warning, BanBan became extremely aggressive and tried to attack Adam. Security stopped BanBan before any major harm was done, but Adam Uthman still suffered some minor injuries. After this violent outburst, BanBan was placed in solitary confinement to prevent any further danger. And this is where everything truly began to fall apart for BanBan. Locked alone, BanBan lost his mind. He began repeating only a few random words over and over again. Gvenium, pancreas, Weverly, and Adam. It was clear that BanBan's mind was shattering under the pressure of conflicting memories and the painful truth of his existence. He repeatedly begged the staff to let him see Dr. Weverly Mason, who was Dr. Uthman Adam's best friend. And because BanBan thought he was Adam, in his mind, Weverly Mason was his best friend too. But after the attack incident, the staff ignored all of his requests. To try and solve BanBan's growing instability, the staff created a new mascot, BanBalina. BanBalina was similar to BanBan in many ways, but this time, they made sure that BanBalina would never meet her human genome donor. They wanted to avoid another case of memory confusion. BanBalina was placed into BanBan's cell, where he was found crying alone in the corner. When BanBalina approached him, BanBan suddenly rushed at her, not to attack, but to hug her. After the hug, BanBan returned to his corner and remained silent. At first, this meeting seemed to help, but strangely, after BanBalina met BanBan, she started becoming uncooperative too. It was later discovered that BanBalina's genome donor was actually Dr. Weverly Mason, the very person BanBan had been desperately crying out for. In BanBan's broken mind, BanBalina wasn't just another mascot, she was his lost best friend. This emotional connection completely broke whatever little control the staff had left over BanBan. In a desperate attempt to fix BanBan's mental instability, the scientists decided to inject him with a new type of Gvenium solution. This solution was designed to suppress his intelligence and emotional instability, to basically dumb him down and make him more manageable. At first, the experiment looked like it was working, but then everything went horribly wrong. BanBan began shaking violently. He screamed in unbearable stomach pain, and then the transformation began. Unknowingly, the scientists had created BanBan's hellish form. Instead of making BanBan calmer, the Gvenium solution mutated his body and mind into something far more dangerous and uncontrollable. This new hellish BanBan had pure rage burning inside him. Now I'm going to break down every single family in Garten of BanBan, including the hidden ones most players completely missed. Let's start with the human family. While most fans focus on the mascots made from Gvenium, they forget about the humans who were behind everything. These aren't background characters, they're an essential part of the BanBan universe. This family includes 5 known members. First is Dr. Uthman Adam, the main scientist responsible for many of the creations inside the kindergarten. Then there's Miss Mason, another key figure involved in testing and behavioral experiments. We also have the player themselves. And finally, the 2 missing children, Claire, whose name appears multiple times in-game, and the second child, whose name is still unknown. This makes 5 total members in the human family. Next, we have the rejected character family. These are characters that were originally planned by the developers, but never made it into the final game. Some appeared in trailers, concept art, or even as in-game Easter eggs. There are currently 5 known members of this family. First is Oscar Starr, an early version of Stinger Flynn who was replaced due to his strange design. Then we have Fuchsia, a cuter version of Syringan that didn't fit the scary tone. Next is Surgeon, another version of Syringan who had a more realistic medical design. Then there's the cat and dog head monster, a scrapped idea that was supposed to replace Bittergiggle. And lastly, there's Humble Bee, a bee-themed character who was meant to be in place of Stinger Flynn but never got past the concept stage. Finally, there's the Cameo family. These are characters from outside the BanBan series that made surprise appearances in the game. So far, we know of 2. First is Choo Choo Charles, who appears in BanBan 3 during Stinger Flynn's dream sequence. This cameo shocked fans and hinted at a shared universe between indie horror games. The second is Egghead Gumpty, who shows up in BanBan 7 as a character on a movie poster. These cameo appearances are small, but show how the developers like to sneak in crossovers and secret references. Now let's talk about JumboBosh's family. This family family includes 5 characters that all share similar features and colors, forming what looks like an extended mutant mascot family. The only one we've met in person is JumboBosh himself. He's been present since the very first game and appears in almost every part of the series. The rest of his family members, Big Brain, Colossal Carter, Tiny Timothy, and Gigantic Gabe, have only been seen in images and artwork across the kindergarten. They haven't appeared in gameplay yet, but their designs show that they share the same base genetics. Many fans believe they'll play a bigger role in later games, especially if the story dives deeper into the origin of these mascot experiments. Next, we have the Jester family. This is one of the few families where we've seen multiple members physically. The Jester family is large and chaotic. The most well-known member is Bitter Giggle, who appeared in BanBan 4 and BanBan 6. He's unique because he's the only intelligent one in the group. The rest of the Jester family were introduced as failed experiments, and most of them act like loud, glitchy, unstable clones. Members of this family include Green Jester, Pink Jester, Yellow Jester, Brown Jester, Orange Jester, Violet Jester, and Bitter Giggle. According to many theories, Bitter Giggle was the original successful version, while the others were broken copies. Their scenes in BanBan 6 show that they're unstable, loud, and mostly useless, adding both humor and chaos to the story. Now let's talk about the Fiddles family, one of the more mysterious groups in the series. We first meet them in BanBan 2, inside the medical sector. What makes this family strange is that most of them are already dead when we find them. Their bodies are lying motionless in the labs, and we don't know what caused their death. They're all different colors, sizes, and expressions, but all seem to be part of the same project. The Fiddles family includes Aqua Fiddles, Magenta Fiddles, Orange Fiddles, Brown Fiddles, Yellow Fiddles, Forest Fiddles, Crimson Fiddle, and Captain Fiddle. The one family member we haven't seen is Captain Fiddles, the one most fans recognize. He only appears in dream sequences and art, not in real scenes. That alone makes him more important than the others. Some players believe Captain Fiddles is either in hiding or was responsible for the deaths of his family members. Others think he might be the only one strong enough to return later in the story. Now let's go to the smallest family in the series, the Bird family. This group includes Opila Bird, Tarda Bird, and their chicks. Even though they're few in number, they play a big role in the overall story. Opila Bird is the first character we meet in the entire series. She starts off as a creepy mascot in BanBan 1. Over time, we see her become more protective, especially over the baby chicks. Tarda Bird is introduced later, and the two birds work together in games like BanBan 3 and 6 to protect the young. The chicks have shown surprising importance, especially in puzzles and chases. While the bird family is small, their emotional connection makes them one of the most memorable. Now let's talk about the most well-known and possibly biggest family in the series, the Flumbbo family. This family includes a total of 12 characters, making it one of the largest family groups in Garten of BanBan. Members of the Flumbbo family include Nabnob, Nabnalina, Opila Bird, JumboBosh, Stinger Flynn, Flumbbo, Banbalina, Slow Celine, Captain Fiddles, Queen Bouncelia, Sheriff Toadster, and the Naughty Ones. Some fans believe Flumbbo is the center of this entire group, and his connection to the other characters will be fully revealed in BanBan 8. Next, we have the most mysterious group in the entire series, the Mutant family, also known by some fans as the Underground family. This family doesn't follow traditional connections like color or creation batch. Instead, it includes the strangest, smartest, and strongest characters in the entire series. Members of this group include Tamataki, Chamataki, Syringion, Brushista, Zolphius, BanBan, Kittysaurus, Serdadadu, and Bitter Giggle. The reason they're grouped together is because of their unique behavior and power. Zolphius is the most mysterious character in the entire series. Syringion and Serdadadu are among the smartest and most dangerous, while BanBan and Bitter Giggle play massive roles in the story. Every character in this group is either highly intelligent, extremely powerful, or deeply connected to the darkest parts of the lore. Finally, we have the Gvenium family. This family was created through the use of Gvenium, a powerful and mysterious substance in the BanBan universe. The members Members of this family include the Gvenium baby, Gvenium citizens, Gvenium infants, and Gvenium blobs. This group is strange because most of its members are either lazy or mentally undeveloped, but a few are incredibly dangerous. The Gvenium citizens and blobs are some of the weakest and dumbest characters in the series, but the Gvenium baby stands out as one of the strongest and scariest. This family represents the unpredictable nature of Gvenium and what can happen when its power is used incorrectly. Now let's talk about a fan-made but widely accepted group, the Hellish family. While this family isn't officially confirmed by the developers, many fans believe it exists based on character behavior and design. The Hellish family includes Hellish BanBan, Hellish Nabnab, Hellish Bittergiggle, and Hellish Little Beak. These versions of characters are darker, stronger, and far more violent than their original forms. When a character becomes hellish, they don't just change physically, they lose their ability to think clearly. It's like they lose their minds completely and start attacking anyone nearby. A good example is in BanBan 7, when Hellish Bittergiggle attacks his best friend Sheriff Toadster without any hesitation. This family is often seen as unstoppable and represents a loss of identity and control, which adds to the horror of the series. Now let's dive into the entire history of the drone remote, how it started, how it evolved, and why it's way more important than you think. From the very first moment we explore the abandoned kindergarten, the drone and its remote become our main tool. They're simple at first, but across each game, the mechanics start to change. And by the time we reach BanBan 7, the drone remote becomes something completely different. But before we talk about the new versions of the remote, we need to understand how it works in the first place. The drone remote uses radio signals to send commands to the drone. When you press the left mouse button, it tells the drone to fly to a specific location. But there's a catch. If the signal is blocked, like by yellow glass, the drone ignores the command. That means you'll need to find a better angle or open a door before the signal can reach the drone. On the other hand, if your drone is stuck in another room, the right mouse button teleports it to the nearest preset location. That makes it much easier to bring the drone with you as you move between rooms. Now that we understand how the remote works, let's look at how it's used in every game, starting with the original BanBan 1. In Garten of BanBan 1, we first discover the drone remote inside the electrical room, but it's not ready to use yet. To power it up, we need to collect 2 batteries, both hidden in the cafeteria area. Once powered, the drone remote allows us to command the drone using left click to fly towards certain buttons or puzzle elements. Right click lets us bring the drone back instantly to a nearby area. This is the simplest version of the drone remote, and while it's limited, it sets the foundation for everything that comes next. Then, in BanBan 2, things immediately take a turn. At the end of BanBan 1, we crash the lift, and the drone remote is damaged. Specifically, its antenna is broken, and we can't use it at the start of the game. It's completely useless until we find a replacement antenna in the break room. Once repaired, it works just like before. Left click to command, right click to recall. But now we realize the drone isn't invincible. Both the drone and the remote can be damaged, which hints at how important these tools really are. By the time we get to BanBan 3, the remote needs fresh batteries again. We can find them in the ground sector, specifically near the information kiosk and next to the drone customization panel. Once the batteries are in place, the remote works like before. However, during the Nabnalina surgery minigame, you're required to temporarily set the remote down so you can use tools like the syringe and tongs. This is one of the first times we're actually forced to separate from the drone remote. A small but interesting change that shows how it's becoming part of the story, not just a gameplay mechanic. Now, let's move to BanBan 4, where something strange happens. At one point, we find what looks like a yellow drone remote, and it seems like a major upgrade, but it turns out to be a trap. This fake remote was planted by Sheriff Toadster, likely as part of his interrogation or testing process. Once we're caught in the trap, the remote is taken away, and we don't get it back until after Sheriff Toadster completes his interrogation. BanBan 5 was skipped by the Euphoric brothers, and in BanBan 6, the drone remote doesn't receive any major upgrades. It still functions the same way, and we mostly use it to hit buttons and solve puzzles. But then BanBan 7 completely changes the game. In Garten of BanBan 7, we meet Syringeon, and he gives us the biggest upgrade the drone has ever received, Drone Remote 2.0. With Remote 2.0, everything changes. This new version of the remote doesn't just command the drone from a distance. Now we can actually control the drone directly using special control panels scattered throughout the area known as syringes. Stygian. When using one of these panels, the player views the world from the drone's perspective, almost like entering a mini first-person flight mode. You use space to move up, shift to move down, and you have full vertical control. It feels more like flying a real drone rather than just clicking on a button. But that's not all. If you bump into objects or fly somewhere the game doesn't want you to go, the drone will automatically teleport to a nearby preset location to prevent soft locking. This new functionality is smart, helpful, and much more advanced than the original remote from BanBan 1. What's even cooler is that Remote 2.0 still includes all the original functions. You can still use left click and right click like before. It's a complete upgrade, not a replacement. Now let's talk about all the notes written by the kids that we find throughout the games. These messages may look simple at first, but they actually reveal a lot about what really happened inside BanBan's kindergarten. In BanBan 1, there are a total of 2 kid-written notes. Both of these were clearly left behind by one of the missing children during the Bring a Friend Day event, and when you read them carefully, you start to understand just how terrifying that day really was. In the first note, it says, "I want to play with the whole bird, but everyone left me. Everyone have party without me. Miss Mason, see me, but go. I am scared because hole is loud, and my friends scream in it, but bird is funny." Now, this might sound confusing, but when you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. The child wanted to play with Opila Bird, but got left behind during the party. They mentioned that Miss Mason saw them, but didn't help, and the screams they heard were likely from other kids being attacked by the mascots. We already know that during the Bring a Friend Day event, all the mascots lost control and went crazy, so this poor kid was trapped, hearing his friends scream from somewhere nearby. That's why the kid writes that the hole is loud and scary, even though the bird seems funny. The second note from BanBan 1 is even more emotional. It says, "Dear Mommy, I am hiding in a room, but I have to fight the monster. It is the only chance to make Claire like me." The kid even draws a picture of himself fighting a giant bird, which is clearly Opila Bird. This shows how desperate the kid was, thinking that by being brave, he could impress someone named Claire, probably his sibling. But the fact that he felt like he had to fight a monster shows how terrifying and unsafe the kindergarten had become. Now, let's move to BanBan 2. In this game, there are 8 notes total, but only one of them is written by a kid. The rest are written by employees, so we won't include those here. The one kid-written note in BanBan 2 says, "Dear Mommy, I am okay and Claire is okay. The nice jellyfish saved us from the big bird and the evil red man. We are going to the jellyfish's home." The note also includes a drawing that shows 2 kids, probably the writer and Claire, and a big smiling jellyfish. This is a major reveal because it proves that not all mascots are evil. The jellyfish mentioned here is clearly Stinger Flynn. The kid even says Flynn saved them from both Opila Bird and the evil red man, who we can assume is BanBan himself. That tells us that Stinger Flynn is different. He actually rescued some kids during the chaos and took them somewhere safe. Let's move on to BanBan 3. Once again, we find a short note written by a child. It says, "Dear Mommy, the nice jellyfish is very strong. He carried everyone to here, but Miss Mason hates him, and I don't know why." There's also a drawing of Stinger Flynn lifting dumbbells, showing how strong he is. This confirms the idea from BanBan 2 that Flynn not only saved the kids, but physically carried them to a new location using his big tentacles. But what's more interesting is that Miss Mason apparently hates Stinger Flynn. Why? That's the big mystery. Maybe Miss Mason had a different plan, and Flynn ruined it by saving the kids. Or maybe Flynn knows something dangerous about her. Either way, this note hints at a deeper conflict between Miss Mason and Stinger Flynn. Now we go to BanBan 4. In this game, we find another note from a child, and this one is much more positive. It says, "Dear Mommy, we just had the best party ever." The kid includes a happy drawing of himself, Claire, and Stinger Flynn all smiling together. So even though they're trapped somewhere, the kids still feel safe and happy with Flynn. But one thing is off. Miss Mason is also in the drawing, and she doesn't look happy at all. This shows us that even though Stinger Flynn is trying to make things better for the kids, Miss Mason is clearly not on the same page. Maybe she's planning something else behind the scenes. Then in BanBan 6, we get another important note. It says, "Dear Mommy, we will not talk to the face like Miss Mason said." This note once again shows the kid and Stinger Flynn partying and being happy, but there's something new in the drawing. We see a sad face watching them from a distance. That That face is Zolphius. It's very clear. He's shown with his large round head, watching from afar and looking sad. But now we have a weird situation. Why would Miss Mason tell the kids not to talk to Zolphius? Is he dangerous? Or is Miss Mason just trying to keep him away for her own reasons? It's not clear yet, but the fact that Zolphius looks sad in the drawing suggests he's not actually evil. Maybe he just wants to help the kids, but Miss Mason is stopping him. In BanBan 7, things get a lot darker. The note here says, "Dear Mommy, where are you? I miss you. The jellyfish gone too. Everyone is scared." And this time, the drawing is completely different. The kid draws himself and Claire looking terrified. Miss Mason is in the picture too, but she also looks scared. And then there's something new, a weird face that doesn't look like Zolphius at all. This face is different. It's not shaped like any character we've seen before, and that's very important. Remember the BanBan 6 note where Miss Mason said not to talk to the face? Maybe that warning wasn't about Zolphius after all. Maybe there's a new, unknown character, something even more dangerous, that Miss Mason was trying to hide. If that's true, then we might meet this mysterious face in BanBan 8. And that brings us to where we are now. Across all the BanBan games, we've seen the story unfold through the eyes of the missing kids. And these notes reveal a hidden storyline that's been right in front of us the whole time. Now, here's another big mystery. Just how old are the characters inside BanBan's kindergarten really supposed to be? But first, we need to go back to the beginning. When you play the Garten of BanBan games, you'll notice that we get case files on many of the characters. These files contain behavior log, creation details, genome donor information, and more. But strangely, there's something missing in every single one of them: dates. Not one case file gives us a clear timestamp for when the character was created. And without dates, figuring out the exact age of these characters becomes a lot more complicated. But there's one big clue that changes everything. In BanBan 1, we find 2 plane tickets. One is for Dr. Uthman Adam, and the other is for Miss Mason. Both tickets are booked for the same day, October 23rd, 2016. This is the exact day of the now infamous Bring a Friend Day event. The scientists knew something was going to go horribly wrong, and they were planning to flee to France. Of course, their escape didn't go as planned, but this date gives us something extremely important, a fixed point in time. Now we know that by late 2016, the kindergarten was already filled with failed experiments, dangerous characters, and chaos. So using that, we can estimate when the characters were likely created and how old they are today. Now let's figure out the order of creation. While the case files don't have dates, they do give us clues about sequence. Most people think Syringan was the first character ever created, but that's only half true. The very first experiment was actually Opala Chick. She was the first living test, but sadly, she only survived for a few seconds. She was considered a failed case, so the first successful, stable character was Syringan. He was created to assist in complex medical procedures, especially ones needed to bring other characters to life. He was smart, focused, and efficient, but still marked as unstable. Despite that, Syringan is still alive, which already makes him one of the oldest. After Syringan, the scientists began working on more kid-friendly characters, starting with BanBan himself. BanBan was created as a leader figure, someone who could guide children and keep the other cases in line. Then came Banbalina, created using the genome of Ms. Mason, someone BanBan had a special emotional connection to. Characters like Nabnab, Bittergiggle, Slow Celine, and Sheriff Toadster came next. Many of them were part of the first wave of experiments, before things completely collapsed in the lead-up to Bring a Friend Day. Based on how far along the kindergarten was in 2016 and the complexity of these early characters, we can estimate that most of them were created between 2014 and 2016. That means characters like BanBan, Banbalina, Syringian, Bittergiggle, Nabnab, and Toadster are all around 10 to 11 years old today. Now let's stop for a second. You might be thinking, wait, if these characters are only 10 or 11 years old, why do they seem so grown up? Good question. These characters are not human. They were created using Gvenium, a mysterious substance that likely causes accelerated growth and advanced cognitive development. So while their age is only a decade, their mental maturity, strength, or physical size can make them seem much older. Some of them even retain memories or emotions from their genome donors, making them appear more emotionally developed than you'd expect from a 10-year-old experiment. Now let's talk about the oldest character in BanBan's kindergarten. Based on everything we've seen, case numbers, lore, and and dialogue, Syringan is still the oldest living character in the series. He was there before BanBan. He was created to bring others to life, and we even see him in BanBan Zero. Syringan is likely 12 to 13 years old, making him the first successful case and the oldest still active experiment in the series. So who's the youngest character? That title goes to Nabnaleena. She wasn't even brought to life by the scientists. We, the player, bring her back in BanBan 3. This makes Nabnaleena the most recently created or revived character, meaning she's technically less than a year old within the story.